Yes. Go live, young woman. Go live. And we're here in another new year. Woohoo! Thank you for coming, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. There's a slight delay from Restream to YouTube, so I will give it a minute. It's just saying 4 o'clock over there and then their parts. Maria Graham, thank you for coming bright and early. Psalm 146 said she was first, and she's over there and them their bushes cleaning the kitchen. Cleaning the kitchen. So, of course, that was Mr. Bad Boy in there deciding to do a barking attack. I think he thinks that my aide is here. She's actually out sick, and I just got a text. I was looking for my messages. One of my former puppies, 160, 170-pound boy, Cane Corso Italian Mastiff. So I would like to thank the moderators, the channel subscribers, the Friends and Family Club members, those of you here for the first time, those returning, and all of the subscribers and the people up there in the bushes. It's 4 o'clock, 4 p.m., the brand new working year on the East Coast. So I know that people will be doing what they do, how they do it, and trying to survive and make a living. So I'm going to pull the chat up and see if I can find what's going on. That was weird. Has anybody noticed that when you try to do the shorts on YouTube, all you get are these ugly brown behind screens? That is so ugly. Looks like doo doo. I mean, every single thing that you post is on brown doo doo. Come on, man. I made some oatmeal cookies and I had the dark brown sugar in it, and they put it on a dark brown background. So ugly, so disappointing. I had stopped doing shorts for that reason because I didn't want I didn't like that black brown background, but it really helps your algorithm to be able to do the shorts. So, but it's real annoying. Who would pick doo doo brown for a background for anything? I can't think of a single person, place, or reason why anybody would. So I'm pulling up the chat. I was actually late posting it. I didn't do it today because I was busy trying to get my hydroponics set up. I didn't get it all the way set up, but I guess people will start getting the notifications and come in. But meanwhile, I'm happy that Maria Graham and Psalm 146 are here. Psalm, I did get a package from you today. That was very, very good. Mother, hello, Mother. Ego Amote, I love you. My sister, my Renaissance grandmas, and the bushes mixing herbs. Happy New Year. I'm getting ready to plant several herbs in the hydroponics just because I said I would give myself a break until the first of the year. Guess what? It's the second of the year. So, Maria Graham saying, hello, Mother, Mama Pankey. So the two hydroponics that I got that I have out at the moment, I'm thinking I'm not planting a whole lot because my dad's parents were farmers, and Daddy used to say, Don't plant a garden unless you're going to be here to take care of it. There's no need. Well, first of all, the we always plant it Memorial Day weekend, which is May 31st, around the 1st of June. So if I can't put anything out there until then, hey, Mike's Chaotic Gardening, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm not going to be here to take care of a garden until the middle of June, actually, because I will be in Zone 9B, Arizona 9B, with my sister Joanne Stevens, and I will be out there. But guess what? It's going to be too hot to plant a garden out there. Her garden should be thriving now, but I'm here, so I am going to plant two hydroponic systems. One is an arrow garden. It has six little bays, the little holes in it. And the other one is called a smart garden, and it has five holes to drop things in. But I'm not going to use the middle one. I've got the plug in this one, and I'm going to plant the front two and the back two. The arrow garden is a little bigger, it's more spaced out. So I'm going to put two in the back, two in the middle, and two in the front. But, well, I already picked out what I'm going to grow, Michael. And what I'm going to do is grow some herbs that when they get big enough, let's see, as long as I make it through January and February here in Connecticut, as long as I get past those 2 months, I can just put them outside before I go. And yes, Michael, I did pick, these are the ones I picked, you guys. So I picked peppermint, tons of it, because people stole my peppermint. Mary, grow with me, 1964. Thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to plant some large green bell peppers. Why? Because they take a long time and they can just hang out in here until I come back. I can always get somebody to come water, but I don't want to be a pain in the butt. It won't be that hot in May and June in Connecticut, so I won't have to water a lot. That reminded me of your grandma that lived in Alabama. One year, your oldest son and planted a bunch of watermelons in her yard, and then when you came back to Chicago, that was 10 years ago. Well, they had a lot of watermelon to eat, and she had a lot of watermelon rind pickles to make. Yeah, so, okay, so I'm going to plant peppermint, large green bell peppers, mammoth basil. Why? Because I can eat basil as fast as it grows. I think I have some Thai basil as well. It's interesting how they smell and taste differently. Oregano, why? Because you never have enough oregano. It's one of the best medicinal herbs for my apothecary garden. I'm planting echinacea. Why? Because it's such a pretty plant. Michael said, "Don't use his government name, Michael." Okay, Michael, I won't. But when I come back, I will pop some of the hot peppers in, Michael. Michael, they'll grow really quickly. And what else did I put on my list that I'm going to? Can't read my own writing. Oh, Jamaican sorrel. Why? Because I love Jamaican sorrel and there's never enough. I'm going to plant some yarrow. There's never enough of that. I have some in my perennial garden out there, but I can use more. Lemon balm, mullein, and I have one extra spot. Mike, what did you say is licorice tasting? I don't really taste that well. Mike says, don't use his government name, ma'am. He called me ma'am so nicely. So I guess I'll have to stop saying Michael. Psalm said she likes licorice. So I will start in the beginning. Oh, how many of you will be having a garden this year and not go back to Chicago or anywhere else and leave it? Like bad Nana. My mother, when my dad was alive, what was mommy's screen name? She had an email. Oh, it was her name was That Bad Mommy, THATBADMOMMIE. She was always doing, oh, the Thai basil. Yes, it does taste like licorice. It does like licorice. Tarragon, I'll have to look. I'm not sure if I have any tarragon. The reason I'm growing these herbs, you guys, oh, see where my seeds are? They're way up there. And I didn't feel like climbing up there to get them ready. I already have the the filtered water. It's not distilled in the two Arrow Gardens, and one of them I noticed, and this might sound silly, when I didn't use the Arrow Garden sponges, they were expensive, so I bought some on Amazon that were cheaper. And when I popped them down in the hole, I noticed that a lot of people were putting aluminum foil over the top. And I said, now I get it why. There was a big space down there. But then when I put the water in and let them soak up, it took up some of the space. Our treasured home, Nancy. Thanks for coming and welcome. You've been getting a lot of mail, girlfriend. A lot, a lot. I've been seeing you. Tell Anastasia I said hi and Happy New Year. Appreciate you guys. So, I still have so much mail to get out, you guys. Psalm 146 sent me a gift today to help with the mail. This is one that has to go out. This one is Yankee Sisters. She can pick hers up. She has stuff out there in the pickup place, but I don't want to put these gifts out there. And I have my cart is full. I have about 6 or 7 or 8 packages in there, and a couple more around here. Our treasured home is saying hi, Auntie Ellen. Thank you. Thanks, you guys. So I'm going to, after the live today, drop the seeds in because all I have to do is take the labels off, pop them on the top, and just put 2 or 3 seeds in every hole. Why am I putting 2 or 3 seeds? And I know because I'm just using that as a surrogate mom. As soon as they get big enough, I will take them out and put them in some nice potting soil and let them grow. And then by March or April, I'll take them outside. You know, you still have a lot to open up and do videos about them. Yes, people have been kind and sending you seeds. That is so good. Mike's 2025 goal is to start every day with tea. Good for you. Good for two. Are you going to ferment it or anything? Do you guys know that you can make tea wine and it's delicious and it doesn't taste like tea? Maria Graham saying, do you grow your own herb tea? I don't know about Mike, but I surely do, Maria Graham. I still have herbs from a couple of years ago. I have dried peppermint. I have oregano. I have oranges. I have dehydrated lemons. I have, oh my goodness, so many teas. I actually did a video, Maria Graham, and those of you who are new, maybe I'll attach it to this one where I show how to make tea with the tea bags that are made of cloth and you can reuse them. I showed how to make tea bags. I have a stainless steel dipper and just boiling it and straining it. I also make tea out of ginger I make the shots with, oh, what is it? Da, 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 da. Not ginger, the other root that's yellow, the yellow one. Can't think of it. I drink tea every day, and the hibiscus tea or the red sorrel, the Jamaican sorrel. I actually make a quart of that every day, and for my family holidays, my daughter makes the family punch, and the family punch is actually a Jamaican sorrel with other herbs and spices, and she sweetens it with guava. You grew a ton of Greek mountain tea. Good for you. Yes, Mike, the turmeric. I showed how to make the turmeric and ginger shots, and those are really good. I also fermented some and garlic and honey. It's really good. I have been using it. About that little bug that's going around, I had a cousin mention it on YouTube that that was the worst coffee he'd ever had in his life. And let me see what I took a photo of it. And another cousin who's in the medical profession said that there's something going around called mycoplasma pneumonia. That sounds yuck, yuck, yuck. Me, I didn't go to the doctor. No, I did not go to the doctor. Why? All the sick people are there. That's why. I don't want them hanging around. As a matter of fact, my helper went to a large New Year's Eve gathering. There were a lot of people. And of course, nobody had a mask. Who goes to a party to wear a mask? And when she came in Wednesday, she was very, very sick. So I let her know that she doesn't have to come in until Monday because I don't want to get something and take it to my mom or the baby. Okay, that stainless strain and is a huge help. It is. It is, especially the little one, and you just pop it right in. Your peppermint bush is huge as ever, Summer. So you got pounds of dried peppermint. Somebody in the community garden went and stole mine, Mike. I had pineapple mint. I had chocolate mint that Yankee Sister gave me already rooted. I had sweet mint, and I had spearmint. By the way, you guys, I have a video out on the difference between spearmint and peppermint. And the biggest, this is some trivia. I'm sure Tori would love it. The biggest user of mint in the United States. Does anybody know? Does anybody know the biggest user of mint in the United States? Put it in the chat if you know, because it's very interesting. And mint, peppermint, sweet mint, is a lot stronger than spearmint. How can you tell them apart? Is because a spearmint has like a long oval leaf like this little part in here, and the spearmint has more rounded leaves. We always have peppermint. Mona did what? Oh, Mona, you are too funny. Mona, you are my sister from another mister. Some of the, yes, some of the pranks you pull. I have to tell you guys about some of Mona's pranks because one of hers is pretty much like mine. Psalm said gum, yep, and Mike pinpointed it. I know he Googled it by now with his smart self. Wrigley's gum. Yes. Mike said, "You're glad you're feeling better. No fun being sick." So, if I may, Mona did what? Mona was telling a story on her channel. I just have to say this because it's so funny. And she had, you know how I was making that quilt for my great grandson with the frogs on it? Well, he didn't get it yet, so it's still here. So, Mona, here are these frogs. They're red and yellow. He wanted a quilt with the frogs on it because his sisters don't like frogs. And he said his sisters wouldn't get under it. And it's taken me a while because I have to make his personal size quilt 7 feet tall because he's 6'2" already and he's only 16 and still growing. So Mona, excuse me, Mona, when she was young, went somewhere with her father and she had a frog in her pocket. And she took it to a restaurant. And you have to go to her channel to find the whole story because I'm ad libbing and changing it around a little bit. And because it's her story, she left the frog in there in the sink where she put it to get some water while she used the loo. And the waitress went in there and came out yelling and screaming her head off because spearmint is the arthritis cream too. It kind of smells like it. And it's also used in Vicks, you guys, that we're talking about the mint. So, you guys, I had a worm farm when I was 4 years old. Why? Because no, I actually started school, kindergarten. I didn't go to preschool. Mom was a stay at home mom, and we got homeschooled for preschool. That's why I learned how to crochet, knit, needlepoint, all that stuff because we learned at home. Say, Pester sister. So Mona did what? So yeah, he's tall. Everybody in my family's tall. I'm the runt of the litter. My baby sister's about 5'10". Auntie Joanne Stevens is about 5'7" and a half, 5'8". I come up to about her ear. My brothers are 6'2" and 6'4". Daddy was 6'4", and mommy is five 5'2" and a half. So Mona said she uses Vicks all the time. So before I started school, we used to garden and have a garden. And my little dresses, when I used to pick the tomatoes and stuff, I used to put them in my little dress and pull it to and use it like people do aprons to carry stuff. So one particular day, I used to collect worms and caterpillars, you guys. Worms and caterpillars. So one day I went to bed and we had those chenille bedspreads that look like little worms coming on them. And when mommy and daddy would turn the light out, my imagination told me that there were worms crawling all over me. I was too distressed. I was hollering. I was screaming, no, turn the light on. I want it. And so my dad was exasperated. He opened the closet door. He says, Pen, there are no worms in the house. There are no caterpillars in here. Guess what? Some said she carried a frog in her pocket once too. Thank God she found it because a way creepy older man who was trying to talk to you at the bus stop. That was probably 12. I was like 4 or 5. So they opened the closet and all these worms and caterpillars had gotten out of the box and were writhing, crawling all over the place. And guess what? I shared a room. My baby sister and my other sister had not been born yet. And so Auntie Joanne's traumatized. She still doesn't like frogs and creepy animals. In fact, we went to a really nice secondhand store and this fabric was on sale and it was such a nice quality. For you guys who sew, you can tell how many times fabric has gone through the printer. All those little numbers you see on the side of the fabric, those are how many times they've gone through the color. So like if you have a fabric with like 20 and all those little numbers, that means how many times it's gone through. Yep, worms in the closet. My sister, I think, had an appointment today, Joanne Stevens, but she'll tell you some of the things I do. So I was in Arizona. This was 2018, and we went to the secondhand store and I saw this fabric. It was such a nice quality. So she said, Sissy, don't get that. That's creepy. That's creepy. We went home. I couldn't sleep that night because all I kept thinking about this good fabric at a good price, and I left it in the store. So the next day, I had her drive me all the way back over to that store, and I bought all 15 yards of it. And there is a pretty well known quilter. Her name is Bonnie S. Hunter. She's pretty much on Facebook. She's on YouTube now. She travels a lot now. She's also from North Carolina. I had a homestead in North Carolina at the time, and she came to my guild meeting a few times. That's an interesting thing to know. Oh, about the fabrics? Yes. And Bonnie would say, there's no such thing as ugly fabric. You just didn't cut it small enough. And I actually have bits and pieces of this fabric in a Bonnie Hunter Thanksgiving, what is it, mystery quilt, and I fixed it with some beautiful batiks. You can't even tell. You can't even tell. I thought I got rid of the last frog in a postcard to Michael, and he said that he loves that postcard. And then I found all these pre-cut blocks. I make my own layer cakes, except I make them 10 1/2 inches because they match up with 6.5 inch blocks and 4.5 inch strips to make like a turning 20 or something like that. And I can, if I want to make a patchwork piece out of it, I can make an extra half square triangle and mix it with other blocks, with the 10-inch blocks, and make more interesting layouts. So let's go over some mail because I got some mail today. And this one is from Mr. Arthur Bammett. And it says, Glory to the newborn king. And it has the three wise men. I thought it was really pretty. And Mother, this is your gift you won from Mr. Arthur Bammett. And he had a question on his live: who had the oldest mother on YouTube? And there was one lady who had a mom that was 99, maybe older, because back then they didn't always have birth certificates depending on where they were born. My mother was born in Pennsylvania, so she did have a birth certificate. But the lady whose mom was 99 forfeited her gift and gave it to mommy. So I have your Mike Cat at Gardening saying, hello, Mother. Hi, Dave Busby. Thanks for coming and welcome. Also, Mom, you got another payment from your Rose and Bloom Afghan that I sold for you. It's in here. It's in here, Mother, and I'll bring it to you when I come to your house. Maritza's Yarn and Crafts. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yo estoy bien ahorita. Sometimes my helper's from Colombia, and sometimes she'll walk in my room. I'll be replaying a video or something from the night before, and Good Eats Homestead. Good to see you too, and everybody in the chat. How are you doing? Do you still have your bag, your fancy bag that you got from on your Auntie Ellen? So people are saying hi to Maritza. Then you know how first let me say welcome to GQUAT Friends and Family Show. Why? Because good friends become family, and family is everything. And speaking of which, about 2 years ago, when I started my YouTube channel, maybe before the channel, when I just had a couple videos out, I met a gardener from New York, and her channel name is A Rose Grows in Harlem. And she was looking for some kind of seeds, and I happened to have some. I was able to share some, and I sent them to her. Since then, she has moved to Georgia and has a homestead there and a lot of stuff. Oh, Good Eats Homestead says yes. She loves her bag and uses it all the time. Those bags are nice. I made my helper a nice bag for Christmas with that fabric. So a Rose Grows in Harlem sent me a card, and we've maintained friendship over the years from the gardening community. The gardening community. So what else is in here? I actually forgot. So she remembered that I sent her some seeds. And so in her package, how cute is this? Look at this Psalm 146. Psalm's favorite flower is sunflower. So a rose grows in Harlem sent me some sunflower seeds. I can just direct sow these. So thank you, A Rose Grows in Harlem. Her name is actually Marjorie. So I will put this in my container of sunflowers, and I will plant a lot of sunflowers for pollinators out there. And when I lived in North Carolina, hey, Unbiased LLC, thanks for coming and welcome. Donzel Cooper, thanks you for coming. So one of my friends, you guys all know that Brampton Gardner has a pug that she loves, loves, loves to pieces. And the winner of the overall Westminster Dog Show this year was a pug. So one of my friends and good friends who had a homestead near mine in North Carolina and is a retired school teacher from New York City used to come up and down Donzel Cooper saying, Auntie Ellen, Happy New Year, and saying hello to everybody. And she had a granddaughter in college in Massachusetts. So she would stop by here, spend the night. We'd have girls' weekend as she was going back and forth to see her family. But she has a pug, and here's her little boy right here. He's a youngster because she had a pug that was, oh my goodness, pretty old. Maybe Destiny might have been like 16 or something and passed away. So this is her new baby boy. So let's see. Is anybody making Dexter is Brampton's puppy's name. So is anybody planning to do anything healthy this year? Watch me choke on these stupid things. So yes, smushy face. One time we were somewhere on a family trip and my grandson came in the room or something. He said, oh, sorry, Nana. I was eating an Asian snack and it was some seaweed. So Bakari, he comes in the chat. He's actually one of my friends and family subscriber. So this is what a seaweed snack looks like. You guys, it's pretty thin. Kind of. Of course, I've had some already. Kind of tastes like spinach with sea salt on it. It actually says it has sea salt on it. So this is really good for you. Do I have any in my teeth? Mother, I'll try to chew with my mouth shut. Try not to laugh. Trying to get the green out of my teeth before I talk. So why did I have to do that? Couldn't leave well enough alone. 1 second, you guys. I'm back. Yes, it does taste a little bit more like kale than seafood. You like the seaweed snacks? Had to use my little inhaler, you guys. So, one of a little quickie gift that, oh no, of course it's not alive if I don't drop anything. But anyway, I have my glasses on, so maybe I can read it. I want to show you one gift that I got from my neighbor upstairs that's always spoiling me. And it was this really good, really, really good chocolate. And it says, finest assortment of European chocolates. Well, I'm glad they fell out. Can you see this? It looks like lipsticks, doesn't it? Looks like lipstick because these are all the different chocolates that are in here. A little confession. Each one of these has two little packs inside it. I only ate two so far, but I'll see if I can. These two look the same. I like dark chocolate. Oh, what is this? White chocolate. Look at all these chocolates, you guys. Look at this. One of them had a little soft center inside. Another white chocolate. Oh, these it shows the name on them. Um, I don't know if I can see which they are. I'm sure like some has raspberry or something. This thing tells you, but look at the big assortment of chocolates. I'm gonna have fun. Hey, Sissy, Joanne Stevens. She says, so far. So far. You guys, yesterday was Uncle Roscoe's birthday. I didn't catch up with him yesterday. I was supposed to call, but I fell asleep. I fell asleep, worn out from the celebration. I know you can't see my face, but I wanted you to. Oh, that's something back there. I wanted you to see this beautiful cardinal on my sweater. When I lived on the North Carolina homestead, the whole property was full of cardinals. And in the wintertime, you could see them in the snow, in the white snow. They were so pretty. And they would fly away before any of the Connie Corsos came out and saw them. Mike's Chaotic Gardening is saying, happy birthday, Uncle Roscoe. So I have to tell you guys a funny story. I made a little fleece. It was a little fleece throw, and I put some beautiful orange African fabric around the edges. I made a binding because Roscoe asked me to make a blanket, actually a quilt to go on a sofa that his daughter Angel likes to scratch up. Angel Maria Graham says she likes that sweater. Thank you. Mother, do you still have your sweater like this? We had one alike, mommy and me. The good daughter, or not. You've got cardinal couple that visits your feeder. Oh, they better be careful of those squirrels out there at your feeder. Yeah, so I ate two pieces of that chocolate. I had to be careful because my bronchitis is still acting up, and I don't want to be coughing and that thing clearing my throat. Maria Graham saying, happy birthday, Mr. Roscoe. Joanne Stevens is saying, hello, Psalm 146. So, what are we going to do tonight? For the month of December, every single day, there was a 15-minute challenge. So, you had two chances every day to win. you had one chance by posting a 15-minute, or by quilting 15 minutes a day and saying what you did. Well, I had some days I do hours, here even. And so I was supposed to get 2 entries a day, and they had the drawing yesterday. I didn't win anything. I didn't win anything. But those of you who are familiar with the channel know I always have done 15 minutes of art a day and encourage you guys to do some type of art. It doesn't have to be just quilting. I paint. I paint several. Oh, I paint several things. I make all kinds of quilts, easy ones, hard ones. Miss Shirley, OG Gardener. For those of you in the chat, Mona and all of you, don't forget to put exclamation mark GQUAT to drop your channel link. So today being the first like day after the new year started, I said, I have one area in my house that I specifically saved to put mini quilts and art quilts of mine. And so this morning, I may or may not have accidentally climbed up there and changed the one that was up there. So this is my Texas Tomahawks. It's actually a modern quilt, and each one of the arrowheads is a different batik fabric. I put red fabrics going around the center and the square, and you can't see it from here. And it's quilted on my long arm with a pantograph, which is a design that goes from side to side. I used to teach long arm quilting as well as several other classes. Mike said no climbing. Miss Shirley, I got 2 new titanium knees. I might try anything. I know it, and nobody was here. I usually only climb when somebody else is here with me. So I have a new hip and 2 new knees. So I have a poem about that, and it says, "Some will, some do, some don't. I might." So I tried it. Miss Shirley's saying hello. Mona did what? So Miss Shirley will be going live at 7 p.m. tonight. Odom, get it off your chest, will be going live at night. I mean at 9. Vision preparedness will be going live at 9. So I'm going to show you my new project. I will be doing several modern quilts, including 2 of the ones in back of me. I will be thread painting this elephant that I hand drew in Arizona at Auntie Joanne's house. I brought an easel down in the kitchen and I drew him. And I cut all of these pieces, and they're all African, except for this one piece here. It's Aborigine fabric. And the new challenge, I have to use 75% African fabrics. So I like those in batiks. And this one, those of you who have been following the channel, this is African fabric. These are tiny hand beaded pieces, and these are hand embroidery. This is actually a star that I fussy cut. No, that I didn't cut. I just drew it and cut it out and put it on some double-sided adhesive and put it on here. And this fabric is a fabric from Africa, but it's from South Africa, and it's called shwe shwe. And it's from when the Dutch were in control of Africa, and you had to have a license. Only they could produce this fabric. But I thought this piece kind of reminded me of a doorway. So I made it into a hut and put this on it. So I'm going to stitch in the ditch to make this look like the thatch tile roofs and finish it for this challenge. She wanted more submissions, so I'll do that. I will thread paint this. When you're thread painting, you guys, you do it with the batting under it and you just keep sewing over it. But this one, even though I'm stitching in the ditch, then I'll put the backing on later. Art on art on art. That's how I live. That's how I live. When you guys get to be 76 years old, you do what you want to do whenever you want to do it. My mother's 93, and as you know, Mother, they already know. Gina, Happy New Year to Auntie and Chat. And my mother will let you know when you go to her house. She'll let you know who is the grand poobah of the living generations. We call her the Queen Mum. And she lets you know who's in charge. And when mommy says no, she means no. She means no. So, what is going on? I love boxes. So, there was an empty box under the Christmas tree after the gifts were open. And this next project, just exactly the blocks fit in it. Well, I guess, oh, it does go down in here. So, I collected the box. And what I'm doing, I'm making a modern quilt, and it's going to consist of bricks. Well, I don't know if anybody in here has ever laid bricks or has been taught or learned by themselves. You know, in North Carolina, when I had the homestead, everybody, everybody in, I want to say, in school learned a trade. How many of you have a trade in addition to an education? How many of you know a trade? Believe it or not, Auntie Ella knows a trade. I actually know a couple of trades, and not just sewing. Not just sewing. I could work in a sewing factory and make a living. In the South, they had a lot of sewing factories. Why? Because they grew a lot of cotton. So if you have an extra trade, put in there what it is, what thing you can do with your hands. A trade usually means something working with your hands. Well, my dad, I was in college prep all the way from, I don't know, elementary school when we got tested here in Connecticut and they had the track system. So I was always in college prep. I was supposed to be a doctor, but I fell in love, got married young, and had a family. I didn't want to go through all the years of medical school and whatnot. I wanted to be with my family. Forklift operator certainly counts. Is that your trade, Assam? Because you sure can get a job doing that. Miss Shirley taught herself to lay bricks and tuck pointing. You, good for you. Good for you. So then Miss Shirley already knows the answer to this question. What size are American bricks? Does anybody know what size a brick is? Okay, I will be telling you what my trade is. So my dad always said, learn a trade. He sent all six of his children to college, but he told us all to learn a trade. Auntie Joanne said she's a fused glass artist. She's also an interior designer. Her house is amazing. My house looks like an art museum. Her house looks like a picture in House and Garden. But what my trade is, and what I learned how to do, I learned how to type. No, Mike, close though. I learned how to type, and I could type 70 words a minute. My first job when I got out of high school, I got a job at General Electric in Stamford, Connecticut. I was always good in math, geometry. I had so much algebra, geometry, calculus, um, some accounting. I got my first job at General Electric in Stamford, Connecticut as an accountant. And Mommy used to drop me off at work. Gee, Mama grows hard in the garden. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate each and every one of you. And for those of you in the bushes are coming the first time, if you like the channel, don't forget to give a thumbs up. I'd like for you to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you know when I go live. Sam said she did the bricks when she was 18. Brother Anthony, T Hop 42, thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. So I could type 70 words a minute. I was also good in math. So my first job was as an accountant. And then for those of you in math, when you transpose a digit, oh, and they didn't have computers then. We're talking about in the 1970s. The even the laptop computers, there were mainframes in the big businesses. Those weren't did not become available to the public until 1980. How do I know that? Because I got a job at IBM. I actually worked on GPS. I never knew that it would be used for the stuff that it's on today. But I lost one penny at General Electric, and I spent an hour looking for that penny before they finally wrote it off. They did not want to. You had this long sheet of adding paper and an adding machine, and without looking, you're doing like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is your home row in the middle, one up, two up, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3 at the bottom, and you had to do all these sheets on the adding machine. Now, we did have punch cards back then. So they would run the tape against the punch cards to see which was the most efficient for business. So let me tell you, Donzel, you like my. Oh, it's a cardinal. He's a cardinal, Donzel. And the size of an American brick is 4 inches wide by 8 inches long. So if I'm going to make a quilt and make it with bricks and make it with most 75% African fabrics, that means I have to cut the bricks 4.5 inches by 8.5 inches. Why? Because there's a 1/4 inch seam on each side, and that's going to take up 1/2 inch. So a lot of the African fabrics, I ordered some. I ordered some that were, I think they like a surprise package, but some of the fabrics are so nice. And you guys know, because I always show you my fabrics, I hate to cut them up. I hate to cut them in small pieces. So that's why I came up with this quilt to make bricks. So this fabric, no two pieces are actually alike. They are like cut in different different places. So I cut some bricks out like this, and this quilt is going to be bricks and mortar. So I will have a 3/4 inch piece of mortar around each brick like a silhouette, but it will be, like I said, I have to cut it. I'm cutting it 1.5 inches, so it'll end up 3/4 of an inch. So these are the full bricks that I have cut out. This fabric is just so beautiful. I hate cutting it up. Why would I cut these beautiful flowers? My inhaler, right here, right here. I have it. Thank you. I have it, Miss Shirley. If I don't talk too fast and swallow air, I'll be okay. Thank you for asking. I was really, I really had a bad cough. I think I had borderline pneumonia. How do I know? Because I've had walking pneumonia several times in the past. It might be almost time to renew my pneumonia shot. Like you see this one, this is too pretty to cut up. So I'm going to use this one whole. And like, see this piece of fabric? This is off the same piece, but you see they're different. They're cut in different places. So I haven't decided what I will do with these whole brick ones, but and you can see that it's wax dyed fabric because you see the serial number on the bottom. No, I didn't just get this fabric, sissy. This is actually this was a 6 yard piece, and I just pulled it out when I was looking for something. If you want some of it, sissy, you can have some of it. This was on the back of that table runner that Sonia had on the table at mommy's house. Then this was a piece of fabric. These didn't really float my boat, you guys. So this one will make you laugh because this one was a pair of pants that my friend Shonda gave me. The pants were cut out like this, were made like this, and I cut them up. I cut them up, and see these are cut in different places. You see where you see the white in the middle of here. This one has an orange piece. Gee, Mama Girl, say wax dyed fabric. Yes. This one I only had one of. This one is a brick cut out of that other one, but you see that it's cut in a different place. So they're not going to be near each other. They're going to be separated. So these are cut 4.5 inches by 8.5 inches. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do tonight because remember when I was making those strip quilts with pieces of vintage fabric? Those of you who've been following, I'm going to make bricks with pieces of different fabrics. So these I'm going to leave whole. I was going to be lazy because the bricks, when you lay them, are like 1 by 1 by 1 like this. But the next row, there's only a half a brick. Every other row has a half brick to start it. So I'm going to getting to there. Here's another piece of that brown and orange fabric. But this is just a 4.5 inch piece by the length of the fabric. See this one? It's cut differently. This one is pretty much the same all over. I'll probably cut it up and mix it up. So I'm going to do something called foundation piecing. And I pressed all this fabric. Joanne said those bricks are going to be nice. So some of the bricks are going sideways. I mean, the long way. You see this one? Oh, here's one I didn't show you guys. So this one only has like one yellow plant. This one is uglier than HE double rails. I didn't say any bad words, Mother. I only spelled one. Maritza's Yarn and Crafts. Oh, by the way, I do like to knit and crochet. I want to stop this 1 second because I don't know if you can see over there by my dad's pyrograph. You see that Afghan on the top of the sofa? It it was like a weekend Afghan. I crocheted 3 strands of white with a really big hook at one time. So, going back because I want to show you guys the bricks that I hand cut. So, I'm going to fast forward. Oh, like that. This looked like clown fabric to me. But you see, the other one was white and blue with the bubbles. So this is blue with yellow and a little bit of orange. And they won't, again, it won't be near the other ones. So this this is one. Whoops, I dropped them all. This is one that I hand pieced. I mean machine pieced, and you see I put a piece of that clown looking fabric in the middle, and this is kind of a red and a black. Okay, so this is what I'm going to show you tonight. And you can see where I put it on a piece of unbleached muslin. So I cut a few unbleached muslin. I really do hate to cut up my beautiful fabrics. So I have a lot of pieces from other projects that were broken pieces. That's what made me go look for these. This is just some green because so many of us are gardeners, but it's a batik, green batik. You can see the colors in the background. I may or may not use that one. So this is one with my pants that I cut up going sideways with a piece of green on one side and a piece of yellow. So this is what I've been doing my 15 minutes a day. This is one, but I had three pieces that were too short going this way. So I put a red piece going across this way. This is how you use bits and pieces of scraps to make a whole quilt or make something beautiful out of nothing. So remember the pair of pants that I cut up? So check this block out. This is a piece of it going lengthwise. It wasn't wide enough, so I cut some of this spotted batik on the ends, and then I put a little piece of black on here. So this brick is really, really weird. So this is a weird. My sister Joanne was trying to get me to make all all handmade blocks. They won't be all made. This fabric is really pretty. Now look at this, you guys. Do you see what this is? This is a strip of blue, a strip of orange, two pieces of my pants, and then another piece of some type of fabric, but I only had a short piece of it. Mike says he likes that one. You guys. So this is a piece of unbleached muslin. It's 4.5 inches by 8.5 inches. So I cut a few pieces of these because that's what I'm going to show you how to put the pieces. I got a whole bunch of pieces of scraps over there from different projects. This is one with that bubbly looking clown fabric on one side, some orange, and some unbleached muslin. Part of one of the tenets of making modern quilts is putting words on it. So some of these are going to have words like family, love, blessings, peace, faith, love. So some of these I'm putting a light piece on so I can write on them. So see, these two have light pieces on that I can write on them. I could put the ABCs. I could put hieroglyphics. I could put adinkra symbols on here. I do have, and I'll probably just take some fabric paint and paint the adinkra symbols. I actually have all the adinkra symbols in embroidery because I bought them from my embroidery ring, but I already have too many projects started. So this is a really weird piece. So I put an orange piece at the top. I had a piece of batik, a pair of my pants going this way, and a little orange strip. So these, I'm showing you the ones that I handmade because we're going to go over and I'm going to show you how I do it. This is another one. This is on the thumbnail with a piece of black, a different place where I cut the pants out. and a piece of orange. This is just like some fake mud cloth, because mud cloth would be kind of scratchy in a quilt. So here's another one where I had bunches of scraps that I sewed together on the side of a brick. Miss Shirley O.G. Gardner, I know you can sew, and I already know you know how to bricklay and do the other stuff. You're going to keep telling on yourself till you pop out of here and show us something you're sewing. So this is another one. This one's really interesting. This was a bunch of little pieces, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that I put in here. So now let's go over there and see some scraps that I can put together maybe for 15, 20 minutes and show you guys how I can make some more blocks and some different colors than these, because I had a whole pile of scraps from other projects, maybe some batiks like from the Texas Tomahawks. I don't throw anything away, you guys. Miss Shirley says just a little bit. Juanita Campbell, thanks for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. I was just talking about North Carolina and some of my stomping days down there. So I'm going to take these over to the sewing machine and put some scraps together. It's called patchwork, and see what we can come up with. So I'm not going to. Oh, sorry about that. So, when I was carrying it, I did. Oh, I had stuff on this keyboard, and it's the big keyboard. Thanks, you guys. Okay, we're back. I know you can hear me now. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me again. So, what I was saying is that bright area over there, or where a couple of the arrow gardens are set up, not arrow gardens, hydroponics are set up. You see the watering cans on the floor? This is my air purifier in here. I told you guys I live over a laundry room. So I have that and several things going. And I will be dropping my seeds in there. So Sam said that's better. So I put this here up high so that you could see this delicious pile of scraps. So I just dropped all my ironed muslin pieces. And I see you, Unbiased. Unbiased said, I am not leaving her out. So I just want to say this, you guys. In bricklaying, for real, they have some bricks where they put the mortar where it's seamless. You can't see it. It doesn't have the thick the thick strips. So between the bricks, I will actually be putting, this is a 1.5 inch strip in between them. You and MRG got you ready to set up another hydro unit. I have I have another hydro unit. See that chair over there, you guys? I can actually turn that chair around. I have an industrial sewing machine on the other side of this counter, but down beside me, let me see if I could hold my stomach in somewhat. My mother, I won't embarrass my mother. And there is a desk cycle down there. So you can actually put it under your desk or whatever and exercise. So let me put here are a pile of small scraps, small scraps from different projects. I also keep my crumbs. Crumbs are tiny pieces like this, but I use them for other things like when I make fabric postcards. So, you guys, let me show you how. Okay, if you want to send a Cash App to help support the channel, it's $ GQUAT 1313. If you'd like to send an email about content or you have a question, Mother Miss Shirley OG is saying hello. And let me see if I can design. I was going to I was going to take the scrolling out, but I will leave it alone because when I do that, things happen. Things happen. So here are a bunch of strips that are longer. I had this fabric that I thought was pretty. It's long, as you see, it's longer than 8.5 inches. And now I can just put one of the background foundation pieces underneath it because this fabric is a little thinner. One of the things I wanted to tell you about African fabrics and the African fabrics are the cotton is so much heavier than the fabrics you get in the United States. The weight of it, also, it's so densely printed that you can hardly tell the right side from the wrong side. I'll show you, for example. You see this piece? This is the right side. This is the wrong side. This is a piece of batik. And this one is pretty good as well. You can barely tell the right side from the wrong side. And I often use a batik on either side, but it's half the weight of some of these other African fabrics that some of which I got from Quilt Africa Fabrics over there. I'm a member of the tribe here. So these will definitely be reinforced. This, I love indigo. You guys, indigo is a blue and white print fabric. I'm going to try to see if I can get a 4.5 by 8.5 inch strip out of here. If not, I might have to piece something onto it. So you see all these fabrics, you can see where they're printed, so they're authentic and genuine. But let's get started and sew. I usually sew 2 blocks at a time. Why? Because I like to chain piece. So like here was a piece that was too small to make a whole block. So I just cut it out. Oh, here are a couple of foundation pieces that didn't get put in the bag. So I will put them in the bag and leave one out. And you guys, I will show you how you can piece it. But I also wanted to show you that you can just use a 4.5 by 8.5 inch piece and use it as is. You don't have to use all of this, but that is part of the artistry being a quilter. So, and that's mixing and matching things and making something that didn't exist before. So we'll take this one for example. And let's see. So this one almost goes across there. So I'm just going to use it as is. And I would put a piece of purple. And if some of the if some of the words show on the edge of the fabric, it's okay because I want people to see that I'm using authentic fabric. I will be sewing with a 1/4 inch seam. Turn on this printer. You guys, I'm a long arm instructor, and I sold my long arm because I didn't want to do that. But I've been spending so much money getting, and I don't plan on doing a lot of bed size quilts. I don't plan on doing a whole bunch of those. I'm using a 2.5 stitch length, you guys, and 0 stitch width, which means I'm sewing straight and I'm sewing with the needle in the middle. So I'm going to put this one there. Now let's get something colorful. Let's get something colorful. Why? Because I know a lot of you like purple. Let's get some purple working. Okay, here's some purple. Here's some purple. Here's some purple. This is a nice thick one. This, you can so tell the difference between the fabrics from different places. Am I a fabric snob? Probably a little bit, sort of, kind of. So I'm trying to find a couple pieces that will go across this 4.5 inch brick. So we're just going to sew 2 bricks so that I can show you guys how I do it. So actually both of these bricks do have purple in them. So I'm going to put this piece of purple, and I will not be putting any black fabric inside the quilt. Why? Because the the mortar is going to be all black. I'm not going to use this because unless I put it in the middle. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Just change my mind in a flash. So I'm going to put this one down the middle of here. But I have to look again because I can't tell the front of this fabric from the back of this fabric. You know how I can tell? Because these pieces of my pants were made with fabric strips and they sewed together and they have a lot of little seams in it. And the only way I could tell the wrong side on this piece is to feel for the seam. So I'm going to put it here. And let me see if I have anything long enough to fit there. Nope, just a smidge too small. A smidge too small. So what I will do is, cut a piece off. And this is what you do when you're actually creating stuff. You use what you have. It's like you go in the refrigerator, you're making some soup. Okay, you got a little bit of celery, you got some bell pepper, you got some this piece. Actually, I'm just going to put it down as is because I don't want to make the seam too short. I can always cut it. So I like the blocks that are going the long way, but I was doing one the short way just so that I could show you all. So, and this, for those of you who want to make a quilt with bricks and mortar, it goes a lot faster than some of the smaller strip quilts like the strips I was making before. I know that you can't see my face, but I wanted you to see the brick. The brick. We're talking about the brick. Wait a minute. Oh no. Invisible sewing? Oh no, she didn't. My needle isn't threaded. Okay. Well, okay, let me see what is going on here. Let me pull this up. This is what happens in real life when you're sewing, you guys. Oh, you can see this part. Because when you're sewing and something messes up, all that's factored into your time that you're spent on making a project. It's not all sewing. You say, oh, well, she only took 15 minutes to do that. You don't know, you might have to stop and oil, oil the machine or something else. Well, somebody was vacuuming and dusting over here, but that's no problem. How? So I'll put this one on. And when you're actually sewing for yourself and you want to save time, you look ahead. Now these glasses aren't really prescription because I don't really need glasses to see the computer or anything. The Educated Natural, thank you for coming. And welcome, 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 Odom's Homestead. We just mentioned that you'll be on at 9 this evening to get some stuff off your chest for the new year. Why don't I get some strings off of my chest? So I'm gonna take off these cute glasses and put on some Dollar Tree super cooler magnifiers so I can get this puppy threaded. These are actually reading glasses. My good reading glasses. I didn't like them anyway. Had them for about a year. Time to go get some new ones. And I was doing something in the bed the other day, and I said, oh, let me drink some water. It's time to drink some water. I reached over to get some water, and I heard a crunch. Guess what I laid on, you guys? My good glasses. I never break these dollar store glasses, but the ones that I had to get a cosigner for. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't really get a cosigner, but just saying that they're expensive. All right, so the threads through the needle. How many of you sew and get the thread through the needle and looking around, do something, pull it back out again? So, okay, so let's try this again because I want you to see what a really cute block looks like and how fast it goes, especially if you're using like three pieces like this brick. So if a brick is 4.5 inches wide and you have several strips cut that are, this is like math. Quilting can be a lot of algebra, just doing the math. So if you have a bunch of, uh-oh, that was a funny noise. That was a funny noise. So why don't I do this? Why don't I take the bobbin out? Because it's getting low anyway. And I'll put a whole new bobbin in because maybe that's why it's acting up. The only thing you can do is try to troubleshoot and figure out what's going wrong. I always have a tray of bobbins pre-wound. You can buy pre-wounds pre-wound bobbins, but I have a low speed bobbin winder. And why do I call it a low speed? Because when I had my long arm machine, I had a high speed bobbin winder that I used to use for filling up the bobbins for my big machines. What kind of long arm? I owned a Gamel, but I taught on HQ, any of the, just like all the different brands of sewing machines. If you know how to set up the computer, if you, here it is. I hate this thing. Almost homesteading with Janet. How you doing? So when I rethread a machine, I like to pull the bobbin thread up before I put this little plastic thing on. Why? Are we back? Hey, Fifi. Can you see me now? Okay. I don't know how to go out and come back in. You can hear me now? I think Maria Graham's saying yes. Okay. Okay. Boy, Unbiased, are you proud of your old Auntie Nana girl? This thing died. It did some other stuff. And I had to do some retweaking, but I did it. I did it. Miss Shirley, this ain't for wimps. Yes, you're good. Thank you, Ten. So we're gonna do two quickie blocks. Two quickie blocks. So because I want to show you guys how you can take some fabric and make some things quickly. And the educated natural is playing you all. She has a sewing machine and she has some African fabrics too. All she has to do is take those 5-inch charm squares and cut some 5-inch black ones and sew them together and make a quilt. I made my daughter a beautiful quilt out of those. Those just one block of charm square and one with that Kona black fabric. It was gorgeous. Oh boy. This thing is acting like she just doesn't want to run tonight. Let me try one more time. Well, let me get a piece of scrap fabric to sew on and do a tester. If it fails, if at first you don't succeed, so this is a piece of fabric I will cut for scrap. So I don't know what's going on. So you guys, looks like we're having technical difficulties tonight. So it's been an hour and a half and you can catch a stray. So why don't we just get a rest, get a snack, get ready for Miss Shirley. She comes on at 7 p.m. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll do some debugging on this machine and find out why she doesn't want to run. And I will see you Saturday, 6 p.m. here. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't worry, Mike. We'll go back to right here and I will show you all because, Mike, I know you can do this. And these blocks are so simple. You can sew them by hand or by machine. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I have a short where I was teaching my helper how to sew by hand because that's how I originally learned how to sew. Mother, ego amote, we love you. And thank you. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our lovely friends. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And thanks for coming, you guys. Have a good night. Thank you.